Well, happy Monday to you. Some of you know that before I became a full-time pastor, I worked in radio at about a dozen different radio stations, mostly here in the Bay Area, Portland, one over in Europe, as a disc jockey, mostly as an announcer. And it's fun for me to think back on those days this time of year because at the end of the year, typically what radio stations do is they do countdowns, like the top 100 songs. Well, in that spirit, going back to my old radio days, I figured it would be fun this year, as we did last year, to do the top 5 most watched video devos as a countdown. For example, today, we're going to show you the 5th most watched video devo. We're going to count them down to number 1. And the 5th most watched video devo is, this is just 2 weeks into the new year. This was Lori and I with some fun banter and a comment. Watch this. Bless the Lord, O my soul, all my inmost being, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, my soul, and forget not all his benefits. Now, what makes this psalm unique, Lori, is that it's not a prayer.
No, it's not.
David's not talking to God.
Nope.
And it's not a hymn. He's not extolling the congregation to worship God. Mm-hmm. He's talking to himself.
Yeah. And
what's interesting to me is he's talking to himself about talking to himself.
That's
really
right.
Is what it boils down to.
That's right.
He's saying, hey, my soul, you got to remember to rejoice in the Lord, to focus on the Lord, to bless the Lord, and remember all his benefits. Really, this devo in a sentence is, you got to talk to yourself about what you're talking to yourself about. Does that make sense?
That's right. That's right.
Because we all have this inward conversation all the time.
Absolutely. We're always talking to ourselves and about our lives and our world.
It's like we have this inner monologue all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to take control of that. It's very important. It's a principle that's all through the Bible.
And you talk about this a lot, and that's why I wanted to have you on this devo.
I know. I think it's so important. Proverbs says, be very careful about what you think. Your thoughts run your life. Wow, that's really powerful because your thoughts can drain you. They can distract you. They can actually change your view of the world.
Absolutely.
So they're so important. They can be a source of strength or a source of happiness. Romans 12:2 says, let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. That's part of what God is doing in us all the time, is changing the way we think.
And the thoughts you feed yourself change your attitude. They change your behavior.
Yeah, everything.
And you see this in the world all the time. What people think changes the way they act.
That's right.
We see this constantly.
That's right. And changes the way they feel as well.
Absolutely.
2 Corinthians 10:5 says, take every thought captive to Christ, to take it captive. So you mentioned at the close of your sermon this week about the brain scans that they do, and you could see which part of the brains are working, and that's so fascinating. It's amazing what we can learn just from science now about our brains. And they're seeing more of what they call brain on fire. You know, all the anxiety and the stress and so forth actually lights up parts of our brain.
Yes.
And the whole point there is that what we think about, what we meditate on and so forth actually changes our brains. It changes us physically.
And when you have brain on fire syndrome, you're not thinking clearly. And I feel like in some ways we have a whole nation with brain on fire syndrome.
That's right.
And we all just need to calm down.
That's right.
And changing the way we think actually changes the chemistry in our brain.
Which then affects our bodies.
That's right. Yeah. So change your thinking, change your life, change the lives of the people around you, and change our nation. Incidentally.
That would be
good. That's right. So the way we get there, the way we solve anxiety, one of the big ingredients in the Bible, just to recap, is to rejoice in the Lord always. And when we do, it changes our thinking, changes our brains, it changes the way we respond to life. Yeah. Remember that, and I know you're going to have a great day.
Have a great day.